What's the difference between what's happening now versus what happened for the last hundreds of years in this country? Let's start with this question. Are we a nation of immigrants? We're told that all the time. Oh, we're a nation of immigrants. So of course you need to open up the floodgates. We're a nation of immigrants, right? I'm not an immigrant. I was born here. My parents are born here. Their parents were born here. My kids are born here. So we're not immigrants. So there's that. I guess if you go far back enough, everyone had an ancestor who at one point moved from one place to a different place, wherever they are around the world. But you hear this phrase all the time, we're a nation of immigrants. Joe Biden the other day, he upped the ante, he said this.
You use the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal, it's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country.
They built the country. Illegal immigrants built the country. Because I hear that, I'm like, wow, did Americans ever do anything? And first of all, that's not even true, that immigrants built the country. In 1900, that was when we had the highest percentage of foreign-born people in this country. It was 14% of the country. So 1 in 7 people were born in a different country, 1 in 7. 1 in 7 were not responsible for building the country. But we hear this from the left all the time. We hear that if it's not illegal immigrants building the country, it's the slaves who built the country. It's as if people who were born here have never done anything worthwhile. And it's everywhere. Remember, the book Hamilton that got turned into that Broadway play? Here's Barack Obama speaking of Alexander Hamilton.
In the character of Hamilton, a striving immigrant who escaped poverty, made his way to the New World, climbed to the top by sheer force of will and pluck and determination. Lin-Manuel saw something of his own family. And every immigrant family.
So you have a rewriting of history here that Alexander Hamilton was an immigrant, made his way to the New World. I mean, he was born in the Caribbean on a British island and then moved to another British colony just a little skip over in America in 1772, before the war. So he went from one British colony to another British colony. I don't know if that really makes him an immigrant, right? But whatever, it fits into this whole narrative that, we're a nation of immigrants. We were built by immigrants. Even our founding fathers were immigrants. When Donald Trump became president, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Department website had their mission statement. And the statement used to say, so this is under Barack Obama, the statement said that this agency secures America's promise as a nation of immigrants by providing blah, 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 blah. Then that's what it used to say, a promise of a nation of immigrants. And then Trump came in and they changed it. They changed the mission statement. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services administers the nation's lawful immigration system, protecting Americans, securing the homeland, honoring our values. Whose values? Our values. So maybe the better question is, are we a nation of immigrants, or are we a nation for immigrants? Every time you hear people on the left talk about, we're a nation of immigrants. What they're really saying is we're a nation for immigrants, or we should be a nation for immigrants. Where Donald Trump says we're a nation for Americans. We're not acting like it, but that's what we should. That should be our mission statement. But no, our mission statement today is that we're a nation not only of immigrants, but for immigrants. This goes back to Trump. Remember when all the Haitians were coming in, the Haitian encampment at the border? And he said, why do we need more Haitians? All right, people got real hung up on that. But notice his question wasn't, why do Haitians need America? Well, of course Haitians need America. If you were a Haitian, of course you'd prefer to be in America than Haiti. But that's not what Trump said. He said, why do we need more Haitians? Because in his mind, it's America first, and this country, this government, our government, is for us, should be, but not to the left. We're a nation not only of immigrants, but for immigrants. So that's an interesting question. Let me give you this story here. There were 1,000 African illegal aliens who went to a New York City council meeting. All right, this is a perfect example of this. Who are you immigrants here for us? Or are you here for you? Okay, you're here for you, great. You can think that, but are we here for you? Like, do you think we're here to serve you? Is that what you think's happening here? Because really, you should be here to serve us, if anything. But if you want to pretend that you're here for, or if you want to know that you're here for you, and okay, I get it. But we're definitely not here for you. That's not the point of this relationship. But they think it is. There's 1,000 African illegal aliens in a New York City Council meeting complaining. Here.
This is unacceptable. This is shameful time in New York history. This city is not friendly for all people. It is anti-African and xenophobic.
Okay, anti-African and xenophobic. New York City is not friendly to all people. Here are some of these migrants, illegal aliens, complaining about the shelter and the food.
But at the shelter, the food, my kids cannot eat the food at the shelter.
Kasuma do men sonjino moƴƴa parce que tawi kadi horu gongol arta e kikiɗe tawa ñamete on a wawata mo ñamude.
And on Ramadan time, we couldn't eat because when you come back for the breaks, the food is no good at all.
Food's no good. You're not doing enough to serve them because we're a nation for immigrants, right? You're not doing enough. The food's no good. Come on now. Back to the garlic lady here.
Like I said, there was emphasis many times that, we are African, we don't speak African. We have different specificity in Africa. I'm from Central Africa. My mom is from East Africa. My mommy speaks Aramaic. My dad don't speak Aramaic. He don't even understand it. I do because my mom is Aramaic, so I do. But only in the Congo, you have like more than 500 languages. Swahili is being spoken in Burundi, so I can speak with somebody from Burundi, but I cannot speak Swahili with somebody from Mauritania to teach to those people. That's what we're asking the city, and the city refused to acclimate. And since
That's accommodate, she said there. The city refuses to accommodate. Accommodate what? The 500 languages that are spoken in the Congo being spoken here. One person said, we can accommodate all the people tonight who are here from the Congo. There's a 1 a.m. flight from JFK that'll take you to a country that speaks 500 languages. Problem solved. How dare you? How dare you? We're a nation of immigrants. Later in the hearing, that same hearing, they complained that these African illegal aliens, they receive free tampons, but they don't use tampons in Africa. So that's offensive for you to impose your ways on them. See, you're not here for the immigrants. So I talked to this city councilwoman on my radio show. Her name is Vicky Palladino. There's 51 city council members in New York. 9 of them are conservative, and she's one of the 9.
I don't want to see anybody mistreated in any sort of way. But I have to ask you, what motivated you to come here thinking the streets are paved with gold? They're not. They're absolutely not. And you're living through that.
The streets are paved with gold. Reminded me of an interview I did 10 years ago with a World War II veteran in San Diego named Bud Fink. Bud is no longer with us, but he's a legend in the Slater family because he told amazing stories that my kids know. And one of them is the streets are paved with gold. His family came from Ukraine. And Bud was a young boy, and he asked his dad why we came to America, why you came to America. And he said, son, the streets are paved with gold. And young Bud laughed and said, you didn't believe that, did you? And his dad grabbed him by the arm and pulled him over to the window and said, look out there. The streets are paved with gold. We have a house. You go to school, your uncle's a roofer, your aunt's a secretary, We have all we need here. The streets in America are paved with gold. And Bud Fink said, and he was absolutely, positively, completely, entirely right. And that's a beautiful story. It's 10 years ago he told me that. I'll never forget it. What's different now?